Hi guys, this is Ruby with MRB Financial. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us today. As I said last week, I have a very special guest. I am super excited for you to meet him. But before we continue on to our topic of the week, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel and our media so that they can let you know when we posted something new. So back to our topic of the week. I have a very special guest. When you see him, you're going to be just as happy as I am. So stay tuned. 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! This is my special guest.
Hello, everybody.
This is Velazquez with JJARMedia, my husband. It's always fun to talk to him about business and different things because for those that don't know us, I'm a financial advisor and an accountant. And Joel, he's a graphic designer with JJARMedia. So he's very on the analytical, but it's kind of weird because it's on the graphic designing side, which I find very complicated. So we offset pretty well when it comes down to, our business or just like our day-to-day because of, my expertise in it. So Joel, tell us about you and JJARMedia.
JJARMedia is your basic photo booth service. I offer different types of services, photo booth, of course. Two of my famous ones are the Photobooth 360, which captures somewhat of a boomerang video, similar to it, but not exactly it. And then we have our classic printout that we print out anywhere from a 2x6 to 4x6.
But you also do the social. So it's not just a printout. You could also text you
yes.
the social or the digital version of it, right?
Correct, yeah.
So can you tell us about how JJARMedia was born?
You know what? I think you have an idea. Why don't you let us know?
You're dying to tell the story.
Yeah, go for it.
So, how long have you been in business?
Professionally, 2 years. Prior to those other 2 years, I was doing it as a hobby. There was a party, and I said, "Hey, let me bring this equipment, make a few memories and things like that."
So back to those hobby days that he's talking about, he liked just buying equipment. He's the guy that we have, like, when it comes down to technology, we have like the most up-to-date, newest something, right? That's got to do with making our lives, easier or a little bit less stressful, right? So I don't even know how like the photo booth equipment started to come in. It started with, I don't know how it started, but before I realized it, we were at one of these hobby events that he's talking about, these gigs, and I'm looking at him like, why isn't he making money? Like, why doesn't he have a business again? And I'm sitting there watching him and I'm like, it takes money, takes time. So I was like, you know what, let me fix this for him.
Yeah.
So I remember that I had a list of business names that, we created. You know how you plan with your significant other, on whatever it is that you want out of life. So we had this list of business names. So I brought them back and I said, hey, we're going to incorporate you. We're going to make a business out of your photo gig. And he picked
JJARMedia.
You added media to it afterwards, right? So we just had the word jar. So he added the media behind it. So I was like, okay. So go ahead and, check out if the name's available. When checked out, it was. We used it. We incorporated him with the state of Illinois, got his EIN, got his insurance, and I said, here you go. You're ready to make some money. You're a legitimate business. Oh yeah, in the bank account. I opened up the bank account for him to make sure that he's separating his money from his photo booth business. So that's how it was born. And you know, I just remember watching his work and thinking like, you know, that 4x6 that you're talking about, that, you know, a lot of people will I'm not saying he's great just because he's my husband, by the way. You know, there's a lot of people that would be happy to give him a review, you know, or have already. So I just remember this 4x6 card, and I was like, why isn't he like, I haven't seen this. You know, I always compared him to other events that I went to, and I would always think like my husband, like he's got a really nice system, you know. So that's when I was like, yeah, you know, let's just do it. So that's really, you know, how we ended up there. Investment wise, you know, we wanted to kind of make this video for those that, you know, are starting or they don't really know how to go about it, you know, the different pieces. You know, we already talked about, he's got an incorporation, he's got his insurance, he's got his bank account to separate his money, and other things that we also found out, you know. Tell us about how you know, invested in it, you know.
Yeah, so when, just like any other business, when you first start off, I invested my own money. And after a while, after a few events, I started slowly seeing the money coming back. But at the same time, you know, I had to set aside money for equipment that may fail down the line, which has. But you definitely, as a business beginner, you got to learn to save. Save as much as you can. Spend some, but also save some as much as possible.
And that's, you know, to reinvest it, like you said.
Yes.
You know, then you went and added the 360.
Yes.
And,
yes.
You know, all of that. I think, you know, while I was incorporating him, while I was setting up his business, one of the things was like, oh, okay, you know, I'm going to start doing his taxes, obviously. So how is this going to look for him, you know? And I remember looking at a point where it said that if you're offering a picture to somebody, remember how we talked about that 4x6, yes. Right? So if you were to offer that all the time, or if that's a service that you provide, that's basically where you would pay a sales tax, versus if you don't have anything, then, you know, you don't have to pay that sales tax depending on the income and other things that come along with it, right? But something so simple like that I was like, interesting, that's basically how it's got to be done. And then just, you know, having that conversation of like, okay, do you remember those days of, I think we're still seeing those days because you just keep wanting to buy bigger and bigger and more stuff, right? Where it was that part of, okay, I got this equipment, now I gotta get these gigs, and then I gotta make more so that I could buy more, right? And that's kind of like the idea, right, of every business, of growing, not necessarily so that you could keep consuming more, but it's more of, you know, what other lines of services do you want to offer? You know, what other products do you want to offer? You know, another thing that people with MRV Financial, one of the ways that he helps us out in is when a client says, oh, you know what, we're gonna eventually have our website, we'll ask them, did you already have set up your domain name? They say no, well, he does that. So that's like kind of how he is integrated with MRV Financial, you know, when it comes down to assigning your name in the legal world. Well, he does it on the web world, you know. So I think that's, you know, pretty cool that he's, you know, adding more things to it. But yeah, we hope that you found this information helpful. Can you, before we go, can you tell us something about JJARMedia that maybe some people may not know? Because I know I may know it. I don't think you quiz me.
Real quick fun fact, the actual title, JJARMedia, we spell JAR, JJAR, and the way we came up with that is it actually is the first initial of each family member's first name, and it's Joel, Ariel, and Ruby, and then media, JJARMedia.
Yes, that is, yeah. That is a story behind it. To add to that, I just thought about it because someone asked me this. People say, shouldn't they say not to add your business name to, or like your name to your business? Well, yes and no, right? You got to think of the nature of the business. Like, are we going to add our family's name in something that could be a really high risk? Obviously, we wouldn't do that, right? So it's very, you got to look at it from a perspective of how much risk am I taking, and am I okay with doing that? Just because this question just came up. So I thought it was a very, very good way to point it out. Anything else that you want to add before we go?
No, I think that sums it up.
Okay. Well, thank you so much to everyone that tuned in to join us for our topic of the week. We hope that you found a lot of value in today's message, and we look forward to seeing you next week. We wish you a great start to your December month.
Thank you for having me. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.